Hey Caleb, why did the hospital send the horse home?
Because it's a human hospital.
He was in stable condition.
Very good. So that's the one that won.
Yes, I got a big old bag of banana Laffy Taffies, and I looked for like 2 minutes to find a decent joke. Because a lot of these are dog shit, I'm going to be honest.
I'd like to hear the rejects.
Let me find one. Caleb, what bow cannot be tied?
I don't know.
A rainbow, you fucking idiot. Caleb, what type of bug has good etiquette?
Well, I know what I want to say for that one.
It's a ladybug.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the jokes used to be better.
I don't think I've ever read a Laffy Taffy joke in my life.
Caleb, what has a neck, no head, and wears a cap?
Has a neck, no head, and wears a cap. LA Raiders fan.
A bottle, you fucking idiot.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think, like, who is the cartel going to behead?
Yeah, my God. There was this Vietnamese chick in high school who used to show me, like, cartel beheading videos in, like, history class.
I've seen one of those ones, and it was like, I swiped away before the violence, like, really ensued. But you've probably seen it, because I'm sure it's popular, of a dude with a chainsaw in front of him against the wall. It was just one. Well, what I saw was one guy, but I was like, nope, swipe.
Yeah. No, I know that one you're talking about, yeah. They have some crazy production value in those cartel videos. You know what's weird? Talking about that, cartel videos don't really go as hard as, like, the ISIS videos, because they had, like, Blackmagic 4K cameras.
ISIS?
ISIS literally did.
I never watched them.
They had some editing. They were probably editing in, like, Final Cut or something.
They do credits like No Country for Old Men where it says this was edited in Final Cut Pro 7 or whatever.
They shoot in a high frame rate in some of their beheading videos.
Where do you see those? Reddit?
4chan had a lot. Well, back in the day, they had their own websites where you could just kind of go, and it was just like, hey, if you want to send us money through, like, Bitcoin, go ahead. And it's just like, is this a honeypot or something? But
yeah, I never searched those out. And I never was, like, trolling any sites where you'd accidentally run into them. But you got those from the Dollar Tree, you said?
I did. It was $1.25. First of all, fuck you, Dollar Tree, for lying to me.
Fuck you, Dollar Tree. Yeah, they do lie. Yeah, they up their prices. I've been to that Dollar Tree once, and you know what the problem with it is? When you go in there, it's just one sinner after another.
Dude, it's like a sinner neighborhood. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I will say this, because I had to run out before we started recording to buy duct tape, and I had a very decent experience. I went in, no crazy people. Last time we went, there were, like, a sinner couple having a domestic in the line.
Yeah.
Just being just like, man, go out to my car and get my wallet. He's like, I ain't doing that, man. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, come on. They had their kids there and everything was bad, you know? The cashiers tend to be of a lower station, to put it politely. My experience today was nice. I found everything immediately, and my cashier was fast and seemed intelligent, so it was a good time. Maybe the world is changing, I think.
The world is changing. Paul Thomas Anderson's evolving as a filmmaker. I don't even know. Who is he aping with this new one?
Who's he aping?
Yeah, who's he trying to be? Because all of his movies, he's, like, trying to be a different director. Who's he trying to be with this one, or is this just actually him?
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to be, because it's not like directly ripping off or anything, but I did kind of feel like I was watching, like, Good Time, the Safdie brothers movie, of just how, like, quick the pacing was. Yeah. Because it is like a 2 hour, 45-minute movie, and it does feel quick, even though I didn't love all of it. It definitely felt like it was always going, which is, even if you don't like a movie, that's what you want to happen. Yeah. But one battle after another, for the record, I guess. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it well enough. I think it's fine. I do have some, like, kind of big problems with it that I think are, like, how do you do this as a filmmaker? Or just stuff that I had, like, immense disagreements with in terms of stuff that happens. Yeah. Without going into too much detail.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know what your problems were, and I think I predicted them while watching it. I was watching it, I was like, I can kind of hear in my head, like I could kind of visualize you next to me, and how you'd be like when you'd be slouching or sighing or just like staring Kubrick-eyed at the screen.
So I'm like your Tulpa,
kind of
sitting next to you.
Yeah.
I will say this: I agree that sometimes when I watch a movie, I do have that thing in my mind where I'm just like, oh, Caleb would hate this. You have entered like my mind palace, as some type of like 4D demon. I'm
your imaginary friend when I'm not here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The movie is, I would say, definitely way better than I ever thought it could be based on the marketing.
Well, the marketing sucks dick. It's unbelievably bad.
I was very afraid.
Yeah.
Especially after the horror that is Inherent Vice, which is based on a book by the same author that this movie is based on, although this is a looser adaptation. But anyway, I was like, these don't mix. I understand Paul Thomas Anderson is a fan of Thomas Pynchon, but I was like, do not tread these waters again, please. I think I'm one of a select few who knew that this was going to be based on Vineland before anybody else, because Paul Thomas Anderson talks about Vineland a lot, or at least recently. He's mentioned many times about how he's like, he likes to reread it. It's just like become this obsession of his. And then when he was making this new movie with Leo, there was a set photo that leaked, which is, I think it's of that scene of him outside the grocery store on the phone.
Okay, in the bathroom.
And I was like, that looks a lot like how that character is described at the beginning of this novel. Because I've read the beginning of Vineland and I couldn't deal with it.
Okay.
I'm not a Pynchon fan. I try to be, but it's just, everything that you probably could gather about him from watching this movie is probably kind of right on the nose, which is that his books are very just kind of like quirky and whimsical. And I don't really know what speaks to Paul Thomas Anderson about them because his influences are so not that. He is influenced by Pynchon, but outside of Pynchon, like none of the other people he loves are like that.
Yeah, one problem I have with the movie that I don't see people talking about, I see people talking about different elements that did or didn't work for them. The tone of this movie isn't as well balanced as I feel like people are saying. Like, there are a lot of funny moments, especially with Benicio del Toro's character. Like, he's a great supporting character, and he brings in a decent amount of serious acting and also comedic acting. Like, he was perfect in this movie for what he does. I love him as an actor. There are a lot of moments where I'm just like, this is like unreasonably funny, where it's like, I wish you would take this more serious, because without going into too much, this is a very, like, delves with a very serious subject matter. Mm-hmm. Like, it goes into very serious places. It's not meant to be tongue-in-cheek the entire time.
The extermination of the white race.
Yes. As you told me when you saw it first. You're like, Nick, this is Aryan Kino. We need to see Yeah, there was like a weird tone, and there's a scene in the marketing that isn't a spoiler that I think kind of will put a lot of people off the movie, where Leo's daughter is going off with her friends, and Leo's just like, is it a he? Is it a she? Is it a they? And in the movie, that is really just kind of a throwaway line, because Leo's character is meant to have some kind of comic relief. Like, he's portrayed as a serious character going through something serious, but he is a funny guy. Leo in this is fantastic, by the way. He does a very good job. But the marketing is like meant to, it shows this as like some, like almost stoner comedy in some aspects. Yeah. Like, but the movie isn't really that. And I wonder if, who is published, is this like Warner Brothers, I think?
It has that kind of Warner Brothers feel, which I don't really know if that makes sense, but
I feel like I saw the Warner Brothers intro. Let's say it is, but I feel like they were scared that this movie was going to be like an Antifa anthem, or just have some kind of like left-wing uprising, that they're just like, we need to show this as like not basically all true patriots activate now, kill Whitey. So I wonder if the marketing was meant to kind of like placate that. Because I will say this, I've seen like a lot of like right-wing Twitter accounts being just like, this movie is meant to like hate white people and stuff. And it's like,
really?
It's not really. Yes, I've seen a couple. Huh. I don't think Ben Shapiro has seen this yet. So
that review is coming.
He liked Wicked.
That out of the theater reaction is coming. He liked Wicked? He liked Wicked. Because the black girl was painted green.
so he could focus on the movie. Yeah. Well, did you know he's a musical theater nerd?
That makes sense.
Yeah, he's a failed screenwriter too.
Oh, isn't he like, he's like a concert cellist or he plays one of those classical instruments. Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, and his parents are in the film industry, so it would make sense that maybe he has like a taste for the finer things.
Yeah, he it's very funny where he was like, opposite of what you would think when you saw Wicked. He was like, Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, I think. The witch. Yeah. He was just like, she's great, but Ariana Grande sucks, which you think it would be the opposite, because of obvious reasons.
I would guess off the top of my head, he probably naturally was going in hating Ariana Grande more, because I would bet that between the two of them, she is the one that's definitely more outspoken left wing.
Oh, yeah.
And saying stuff that would bother him, So.
Yeah. Well, she said something recently talking about, like, I don't know how you could vote for Trump. And everybody's like, dude, a fucking member of ISIS suicide bombed your concert. It's like, why?
Yeah, I mean, if you live her life, it doesn't make any sense to vote for Trump, because you're like, what do you mean? Everything's fine. I live in Bel Air. Like, what's the problem? Yeah, I think with the marketing, I think that they were just doing what they could to just make this look fun, because this movie cost a fucking ton of money.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I forget the budget exact. I think it was somewhere like, it was either like 120 or 150 million.
You're right.
It was an insanely high. Like, for Paul Thomas Anderson, that's a lot of money. And his movies never make money.
Yes.
So I think they were doing everything they could to ensure that this would serve the largest possible audience. Don't be too offensive. Don't be too ideological. Make fun of everybody so that we don't have anyone protesting this film,
Yeah, I think as of right now, it's made about 60 million total, which is half of its budget. Just the, not even the marketing budget, but just whatever that is. I don't know if that was a good choice. Because I feel like people now, if you're more honest about the movie's going to be, you can find your own audience. Because I will say this, I saw this in IMAX because everybody said, oh, this is great. And for some reason, Washington does not have like a theater equipped to show like VistaVision or like all that shit. We have like
70
IMAX.
millimeter.
Yeah, exactly.
There was like one theater in the state that could do it.
Yes, I live very close to Seattle, our most populated city, and we don't really have like any great theaters. I mean, we have a couple IMAX theaters, which is what I saw it in. And I think I was in a theater of about 40 people. I saw it like 1 p.m., so it was kind of empty. But I would say at least a quarter of my theater walked out within the first hour.
Really?
Yeah, I will say this. It was mostly like old people who, for some reason, were just seeing this movie.
If you ended up in this movie, how are you walking out an hour in?
I will say this. The first like 30 minutes are just like unbelievably like tedious and also just eye-rollingly like, we was Kangs and shit. Like almost just like we hate Whitey level. And then it mellows out.
Okay.
And well, first of all, I mean, the entire scene, I mean, do we want to get into spoilers? Probably not.
I think we shouldn't spoil the movie, but I think you can talk about this movie quite a bit without spoiling it, because there's almost nothing that would be a spoiler that happens till about halfway through. I mean, yes, there is stuff in the beginning, but, from the trailer, you already know who is with who and in whose life.
Exactly. So I guess those will be very light spoilers. It's going to be stuff that maybe people say, but it's not going to be events. The characters are left-wing revolutionaries. Literally, the first thing you see is them raiding an immigrant detainment camp in, I think, New Mexico or Arizona.
Maybe. I thought it was California. Somewhere.
Maybe California.
Somewhere on the border. Some border state.
Yes, exactly. It says like Mesa something, like whatever. And they're left-wing revolutionaries who break into like a migrant detainment camp, arrest all the officers at gunpoint. In a way that does actually, it's well shot and does seem realistic. Like they basically bum rush them and there's like 10 people to one guy and it's like, okay, put your rifle down. And it looked good, but there's some stuff that happens in that scene. And also some of the characters are just like, oh my God, was this written by like Twitter?
Yes, there is eye-rolly stuff. I wrote down, I was taking notes on my phone throughout. I opened this document you're seeing at the beginning of the movie and
oh my God,
this is how much, because there were just so many. There were a lot of these are quotes. Yeah, there were just so many quotes. At the very beginning, the lady says, "Get on your knees like you about to suck a dick." there's just stuff like that where it's like it's like sort of stupid.
Yeah,
and you're watching it and you're like, well, I guess this is supposed to be tough. It's that like woman thing where like a 5'5", like 90-pound woman is overpowering like a military man, and. It's like, okay, fine. It's a movie. Who cares? But then there's like, but then like the lines are like corny and bad. And it's like, that's not badass. That'd be more badass if you were just silent,
Yeah, there was one scene that happens later on that made me laugh, where they are in a bank. doing a robbery for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why they do it, honestly, which is kind of something that I don't like about the movie is you don't really understand their motives completely. They're just revolutionaries. And I wanted to see a little bit more of why they were doing what they were doing. I understand that they're like freeing migrants. They want to like disrupt the government, but it's like, are they going so far to be like accelerationists? Like they want the government to collapse, or do they want just to create like societal change?
Yeah, it's not made clear, at least in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's possible that it's not necessarily meant to be clear. I don't think it's a like purposeful, like they say a lot. They're like, we are for the freedom and liberation of all people everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just like, if they feel like they see injustice, they try to subvert it.
Sure.
And the bank robbery, I feel like that was probably just like, we need to fund our operation somehow because we don't have jobs because we're fucking terrorists.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a scene in the bank robbery that nobody else in the theater laughed at, but this is a very like Nick and Caleb scene.
You know the scene in Revenge of the Sith where Padme and Anakin are like looking at each other from across the fucking like 30-mile. You know what I'm talking about? That was like, I had this like psychic connection. I had a future connection because I saw this like a few days before you.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that when this is happening, I can picture what you'll be doing. Are you talking about the woman who has the heat monologue?
Yeah, there's a woman who jumps up on, I guess like the desk or something at the reception, and she's like, so my name is Jungle Pussy. And she's the blackest woman you've ever seen. Yes. And it's one of those moments where it's just like, if Caleb was here, him and I would be like howling like baboons at the screen. It's one of those things where I'm just like, my God, did Ben Shapiro write this? Did Alex Jones write this, dude?
Was it you or was it somebody else who was saying that is that actress's real name?
That was me, yes. So I thought Jungle Pussy was just her like fucking like revolutionary name, because they call DiCaprio's character Ghetto Pat at some point.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, whatever. So I was like, okay, so that's like her name or whatever. But she's like a real like actual singer in like England or something. But her name is just Jungle Pussy. And it's like, why did you do your just real name?
Yeah.
It's like, you wouldn't have like Charlie XCX robbing a bank.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so stupid.
This is Brat.
Yeah.
Yeah. PTA does like to do that. I'm going to call him PTA. We're friends. He does do that a lot. He casts a lot of actors. Well, he'll cast people who like they can act, but he'll cast musicians, people who are musicians first, people who are maybe comedians first, actors second. You know, Jim Downey.
Oh yeah.
And Jim Downey's been in other movies of his too. Like he'll do that. He like, you know, he's a townie. He's an LA townie, so he'll put like entertainment people in his movies, and they're often good in them. But it's not necessarily like her bad acting per se. It's just so freaking silly how
It's one of those things that kind of stops me from recommending somebody see this, because the first 30 minutes are basically like, that's right, we run the world here. Yeah. It's like, we them black activists. It's basically like the first 30 minutes is just like Black Panther light for some reason. And it's like, it's kind of hard to recommend to your dad is the way to describe.
So this movie, it felt like, but when we finally get to modern day and the actual story is starting, it's a while into the movie. It could be 30 minutes. It could be less. And maybe it just felt long because it wasn't as entertaining as the rest. That whole prologue section of the movie, you don't need.
Yeah.
You could get everything you learn in that. You could learn that through just the context of what's, you know, through context clues and maybe like specific little flashbacks here and there, maybe at key moments, like to just like, you could cut a lot out of this budget by just getting rid of that shit. Cause almost all of it is boring. It's like the action isn't particularly like exciting. There's the car chase after the bank robbery, which was pretty cool.
And the helicopter.
Yeah.
I love that. That was great.
I thought that was pretty cool. But almost everything else, like I can't remember anything that like really stuck out. And almost all of it is like, if you just started with DiCaprio modern day with the daughter, you're like, yeah, I can piece together. He's the former, where did this gear come from? Oh, the hole in the floor. Oh, clearly he's, you know, wouldn't that be like a much better way to?
It's kind of like, you know how John Wick 1 starts with him, like, you know, taking the sledgehammer to his garage and digging up his past, literally. Yeah. It's like, you don't need to have 30 minutes before showing John Wick, like, shooting all these people and like why he is. It's like, you understand through visual storytelling or maybe even flashbacks why he is the way that he is.
Yeah.
And I will say maybe the one thing I mean, the pacing is so good that I can kind of forgive it being just like whatever. I can forgive the opening because I wasn't really like looking at my watch or anything. I do like in the beginning that you see that DiCaprio's character was a pretty like strong revolutionary, like he was kind of like into it. And then like after the time skip to modern day, he's kind of just like a stoner layabout. And he's a kind of, he really burned out and like lost the it's like that thing of like everybody in their teens wants to like change the world. And like once you become older, you become like more conservative and everything, or you just kind of lose the will to like stand up. I do like the switch that you see there. That might be the one thing that I think kind of saves the intro prologue, where you do see his character switch. Because, I mean, he's a big part of the movie, so it makes sense to explore that part of his character. But I would agree with you. I feel like that part is like largely whatever. It kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth at the beginning. And I see why a lot of people walked out in my theater, especially like the older people, when you just have a bunch of like black just being like, yo, get a boner.
The boner scene.
Oh my God. Yeah. There's a scene, if you guys aren't going to see the movie, that involves a certain character just like getting a boner. And it is one of the most bizarre scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
And it's shot. That angle,
yeah,
it's like insane. That camera angle,
it comes out of nowhere too, and it's like it's not really like built up to. It's very like, what the fuck is going on? It was bizarre.
That's such a Paul Thomas Anderson thing. He has this weird like immature like poopy pants humor, like sexual humor streak.
Yeah,
but he has the streak to put that kind of stuff in his movies, and it almost always stands out. It just sticks out like a sore thumb. Like when that moment happens, like it's kind of funny, I guess, when he has to like walk with a gun in his back with the boner, but
yeah,
very weird.
I guess we can talk about some of the characters in here that we liked that we haven't so far. Sean Penn, I mean, if he doesn't win like Best Supporting Actor, I really don't know who should. Yeah. I think that would be the biggest like upset if he doesn't. I mean, he obviously deserves it. He was great in this.
Yeah, I loved him in this.
Is he the best character, do you think?
Probably, yeah, I would say so. With Leo, like, people are going to praise this as being like another amazing turn from him. I find it odd that like ever since The Revenant, every role he's been in since has been very similar in terms of like he's playing like a silly, kind of stupid and often Southern accented character. And in this movie, he doesn't have the Southern accent, but I think he is from Louisiana, maybe somewhere like that. Leo, he's not like an LA born and bred kid.
Okay.
And he's kind of speaking with his natural voice in this, which is just, it's like kind of weird way of like, he has this weird drawl, but I was just distracted. I was like, do you have to keep doing this weird? Like, I mean, it makes sense. It's just weird that he keeps playing this character, but I didn't necessarily love it. Didn't have a problem with it. It's fine, but I wasn't necessarily like excited to see him when he was on screen. I was like, okay, yeah, it's this guy. But I loved Benicio and I loved Sean Penn. Sean Penn's scenes are like amazing.
Yes.
I thought how do I put this? I think that his character's fate is one of the biggest laughs I've had maybe ever.
It's insane.
and partially because of his like acting.
Yeah.
And partially because of the makeup department. But yeah, no, Sean Penn's great. He's the GOAT. He stole this movie. The half the cast was kind of forgettable to me.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be a white sexist, but like literally all of the women in this movie, I just didn't. I was like, okay, get off the screen.
Yeah. I will say this very briefly about Sean Penn. His physical acting and how he looks is insane. It's amazing. It really is. Like, he looks like a roided out, like a guy who's worked in like HVAC repair his entire life.
His walk.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is doing like Three Stooges, like Marx Brothers levels of just like physical comedy that is amazing. Frankly, he should win outright at this time. Besides Benicio, who's great, doesn't have a huge amount of screen time, but he really is like your bro when you're watching him. It's like, yes, Benicio, which is what you want in a supporting character, where it's like, even though not a lot's happening, it's like you want that. But Tiana Taylor, who her name's like something like it's like a fucking Miss Doubtfire name. It's like Euphemia Beverly Hills. You know what I mean?
I don't remember her name.
She has a very stupid name. That's like whatever. And it's Tiana Taylor, who is a real life musician, I think, who looks so fucked up.
I wrote down. Yeah. So when the movie started, the first shot of the movie is her.
That's true.
And I didn't know who Tiana Taylor was.
Neither did I.
And I wrote down, well, actually, I probably can't read what I wrote down. You know what I wrote down.
I do.
And it's not the word, folks. It's other words. But it's not necessarily better. But I wrote down, this must be a celebrity in another field. Like, there's no way this is an actress by trade. Like, it can't be, because like her acting doesn't stand out as like being particularly bad, but it wasn't particularly good. And she's like the main character for the first, 15-20% of this movie. It's a sizable chunk of the movie to give to just like a kind of mediocre. And I was like, this has to be a musician. And, it was her lips. That's How do I talk about this? Let me just say this. She has a there is one quality about her where I was like, oh my God. Like she has the, I don't know. How do you put this?
Come out
Nick?
and say it. Just say it.
She has this. What's this thing where some women of certain persuasions are like drawing eyeliner on their lips? What is that? Where does that come from?
They're overlining their lips to make them look bigger.
What is that?
I don't know. Let me just say this. If you don't know what she looks like, if you drew her at your job, you would get fired. You would be sent to HR. They'd be like, you cannot be drawing characters like this.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know when Roseanne got fired from her show because she called Valerie Jarrett? She looked like she was in Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
If you look up Valerie Jarrett and look at one of the original Planet of the Apes like costumes, you're like, I see what Roseanne was saying, even though it's,
People did that right away. Because when you picture like a real life actual like ape doesn't look like the Planet of the Apes makeup apes. No. The Planet of the Apes makeup apes, like the makeup apes, those apes that's, humans with makeup, they have these like weird, like long faces, like their cheeks are like it's just kind of weird, but it's very specific look. And Valerie Jarrett, so it makes sense why she came to that conclusion.
Yeah, makes sense, 100%.
But the thing with Teyana Taylor, the weird thing is when you see her daughter character, the daughter looks way more like the other girl. What's her name?
Regina Hall?
Yeah. They have way more features in common. Teyana Taylor looks nothing like this daughter character at all. I thought that was going to be the twist, was that like she wasn't, well, not that it was going to be a twist, but I thought there was going to be like some I donated an egg and I'm your mom or something. Because there is a Patra mystery, whatever you call that. Paternity mystery.
There is a scene where the daughter goes to a lady who knew her mom and is like, do I look like my mom? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see what you're coming from.
That's how we'll get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he owe Teyana Taylor a favor to be in this movie? Because, I mean, I don't like her. Her character is meant to be very provocative and controversial, the stuff she does. So it's not meant to be like, let's go, amazing. But I feel like there could have been a lot of other actors that have done this better. And even going on to the other actress, Regina Hall, who, if people don't know that name, she plays Brenda in Scary Movie. The black chick who's like, Cindy, this white bitch is crapping up my floor. She keeps dying in every movie. She's fine in this, but she isn't really given like a lot to do. Like, she's a good actress. I didn't have any problem with any scene she was in. When she actually had like a moment, I was like, okay, this is a good scene. Her acting is great. But she doesn't really do a lot. I mean, a lot of shots of her are just like reacting to stuff. And it's like, I understand the emotion that is being portrayed when she's like facially acting. It's like, that's, a mark of a good actress. Mm-hmm. But she's not really given a lot to do. And I feel a little underwhelmed because I did want this to be, she had been in other movies other than Scary Movie. Like, she's had a career, of course. To Whitey's, I guess, is what I'm saying. We don't see her in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I'm familiar with her as a name and face, but besides Scary Movie, I don't know for sure if I've seen anything she's in.
Yeah.
Couldn't say for sure. Yeah, her subplot and also Leo's plot. So her subplot doesn't really go anywhere that consequential because it's basically like, I'm trying to do this. It's like Last Jedi. It's like doing this. Oh, it failed.
Yeah.
It was all for nothing.
That's true.
Leonardo DiCaprio's character, if he never left his house, the plot would not be different.
Yeah. You're super right.
Like he literally his character, which is fine. Like I wasn't like mad, like he didn't save the day, but, it's kind of like No Country for Old Men a little bit. I think this is the second time I've referenced that this episode. In that the main characters in No Country never sit down and talk ever. They have vague interactions from distances, but none of them are ever in the same place. The multiple subplots in this movie don't really converge. They kind of end geographically close to each other. Yeah. And then the movie's over.
Yeah.
And I was kind of waiting, like I was expecting more. And then when it was clearly wrapping up, because without getting into spoilers, there's a certain point where it's like, well, there's not really anywhere they can go from here. Mm-hmm. So this has to be wrapping up soon. I could feel that the ending was coming, and I was like, I'm waiting for this to wow me. But then, like, without getting into spoilers, Benicio's character, the way that his subplot ends, is just kind of like, well, that's over.
Yeah.
And I was like, so he's not going to, like, he has specific traits where I was like, well, this is going to come into play. Never does.
I wanted a bow on Benicio's part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leo's character, if you've seen the marketing, there's a certain thing where you're like, well, this is going somewhere, and then that never happens. Mm-hmm. And then when it's over, like, I mean, it's satisfying, and, everything works out in a way that I didn't see coming, and I was happy. But it didn't really have that kind of like perfect like crescendo that I was hoping that a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies do, where like you're kind of like, wait, how can this end? And when they do, like maybe you're not happy with it in the moment, but it always feels like it had to be that ending. This movie, it's kind of like, and maybe this is very true to the book, I didn't finish Vineland, but it kind of just feels like Thomas Pynchon or maybe Paul Thomas Anderson writing the adaptation went, I don't know, I guess it'll happen here.
Yeah, the ending feels incomplete. I was in the theater, and like I said, no spoilers, but I was looking at it, I'm just like, wait, there's an unresolved problem that is increasingly like...
In the final scene?
Yes, where I'm just like, there is a big thing that they need to resolve right now, and I cannot believe that is ending this way.
Yep.
And it's kind of baffling.
I wrote that down. I wrote the ending will make Nick scream because like,
yes,
I don't know how to even vaguely talk about that giving it away. So, I just won't even try, but there's just a thing at the end where you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Did most of the world forget about X?
Yes. Yes. That's exactly it. I was in, because when you like think about a movie later and like, well, that part didn't make sense. That's a plot hole. I was in the theater leaning forward like, wait, no. There is a big thing that you need to address right now that I cannot believe that is just blown over. Yeah. And it was a little disappointing. I feel like the big brushstrokes are there, but I feel like the little details, certain characters, certain parts of the plot are just like very sloppy. And anybody who's giving this like a 5 out of 5, I've seen intense love for this movie. Yeah. And I know this wasn't entirely for me, so, it's not going to be my thing specifically. But I feel like if you're giving this a 5 out of 5, you are ignoring some very big problems.
Yeah. The thing that you get out of movie watching isn't the math all adding up. Because, this movie, I would say it's objectively good. And I think that almost anyone could sit down and it's, it's exactly like our favorites, Lady Bird, Black Panther, all these 99%ers, because it has an amazing Rotten Tomatoes score. It's like those. It's fine. Anyone could like it. But it's definitely going to get overpraised. It's probably going to have the same arc as like Roma or Oppenheimer, or any of these movies where a really well-renowned director who's made better movies before makes a pretty good movie that a lot of people who maybe would never watch Memento by Nolan or Y Tu Mamá También by Cuarón are going to see the big one that everyone saw, and then it's going to become like the crown jewel in that person's filmography, despite the fact it's just not up to snuff. Like, this movie, I don't really know where I'd rank it with PTA stuff. It's extremely different from the rest. It's the first one that has a plot. It doesn't even feel like you really can judge it with the rest to me, but it's not in the top 3.
Like I was about to say, the only other PTAs I've seen are There Will Be Blood and The Master, which, I mean, when you talk to people are like, oh, these are the best, or at least top 3.
Yeah.
I love There Will Be Blood. Ending is kind of fine, I have a little problem with it, but that's like definitely a hard 9 out of 10. Yeah. Master wasn't really my jam, but I recognize it's good. I don't have big problems with it. I guess this would be my least favorite out of the 3, but I'm not even giving it like, I guess I would give it like a hard 6 out of 10 on my scale. I guess a 3 out of 5 star. Yeah. It's at least a good movie that, if you temper your expectations, if you're not like kind of the Letterboxd crowd where like you're saying, where you judge a movie on vibes, if you're just like, I need to like specifically lock in and watch this, you will have a good time. I think everybody will, unless you're like the 10 old people that walked out of my theater. I feel like anybody could enjoy this.
You saying vibes reminded me of something that I thought of earlier. It didn't occur to me until we were sitting here. You mentioned earlier, Good Time.
Yeah.
This movie does excel with, the plot isn't very like evenly distributed, meaning that it's kind of like you could divide this movie into like 6 or 7. If you did it like the Tarantino way of like everything is like a chapter where it's like Inglourious Bastards, where it's like it's made up of these 5 kind of like scenes with like a couple little scenes at the beginning and end, but it's mostly these 5 scenes. This movie is like 5 or 6 like kind of set pieces basically. And then there's like little in between stuff and information and whatnot, but it's like, the prologue and then the initial what happens and then the thing with Benicio and whatever. The sequence with Benicio felt so much like Uncut Gems. Yeah. And Paul Thomas Anderson did a podcast with the Safdie brothers. He was on the A24 podcast when Uncut Gems came out. I listened to it on my lunch break working at AMC when Uncut Gems was like about to be in theaters. And I remember that conversation very well. And he was praising the movie. He's like, I love like every time that you're in the shop, like it's just like you can just feel like the vice getting tighter, you know?
I agree.
And the sequence with Benicio, that is like, it just felt so in terms of like what's happening and the way it's staged and shot and lit also, like like Uncut Gems, there's like that fluorescent blue, like gross light in the shop and everything, and his place is lit like that, you know. And it's like they found that location, you know, like it's clearly been designed. That's probably where a lot of the budget went. Yeah,
there's a good bit at that part too where Leo has what I think they call it earlier. They set up it's like a 1G phone where basically it's like not even a dumb phone.
Yeah,
it's just basically almost a landline, and he's just like, I need to charge my phone. It's not charged, and he goes to Benicio's dojo because he's like a karate instructor that taught his daughter, which is the connection. And he's like trying to plug it in, and Benicio's like, we have to go, amigo. And he's just like, I need to charge my phone. And it's for like 15, 20 minutes. It is a very funny bit of him just trying to find an outlet and finding one. And he's like, no, we got to go upstairs. And it is that point where I kind of like focused on the movie, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to get into the vibe of it.
Yeah,
I get it. And then
it is good. A loud plane went over and we lost our train of thought and we're waiting for it to pass.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck I was saying because I'm kind of drunk right now. I'm eating some Laffy Taffy.
I want to say one other thing about the Benicio scene. Well, this is about the whole movie, but the Benicio scene's an example of it. Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, every single one of them is every single one of them at least has this, and some of them are full of it, especially his early movies, is scenes that are shot in a way where it's like, look at me, I'm a director, I'm filming. Like Boogie Nights has so many of these like one take scenes, these tracking shots that really didn't need to be. Like the opening scene is a famous one, and it works like really well, and you don't even really notice it if you're not paying attention. It's just staged so well that it's like the Spielberg one take thing where it's like you just kind of don't even notice. This is the first movie and I've seen everything he's done. This is the first movie of his where there is no look at me, I'm the director shit. Like, everything is shot with like, it's kind of just what's right for that scene. Like the Benicio scene, that is one long tracking shot, but it's not show-offy. It's just simply following them. And it's just kind of like the energy is building as they go from room to room to room to room.
The pace is great. It makes sense to do a tracking shot like that.
But there's no other like, look at me, I'm holding the camera here for like in There Will Be Blood. Like it works well in There Will Be Blood, but that fucking scene where the kid lights the bed on fire and the camera's just sitting there. Oh, yeah. And then he chases them out and comes back in and it just never moves. And it's like, you could have filmed coverage. You just want to show off how you were able to stage this. And it doesn't really, it kind of sticks out. You know, there's a lot of that in There Will Be Blood. There's a lot of long takes in There Will Be Blood that are just kind of show offy. But this movie is like, it did feel like he was kind of serving it was like an egoless thing, or at least less ego than his other work. You know, it wasn't trying to be impressive.
I wonder if that's because they gave him such a huge budget that he's just like, if I fuck this up, I'm not working again.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe it's a subconscious thing of like, I can't afford to make an art film here.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I actually need to make something that like, you know, I'm not going to do insane long tracking shots that people get bored of.
Yeah.
And all that, unless it like really makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there is some kind of like self-censorship with directors now, where they think like, if I do this thing because of like how the film industry is now, it's like, I'm just not going to work again. Like if I do something that's just so out there, too artsy. I mean, I can't really think of any good examples, but people do tend to self-censor once they reach like a certain level. Like, I mean, there isn't really anything in like Martin Scorsese's movies now that is just like, whoa, out there. Not like he doesn't have like a modern like Taxi Driver like ending sequence.
Yeah, and that's probably also age.
Sure.
That's probably a factor of age, and also the fact that like once you've made a lot of movies, like the excitement, even if Taxi Driver were like, if it were like a worse script and the conditions generally were not necessarily going to be maybe as good as they were, like everything coalescing how they did for that film, a young director would still be just like so excited to make that movie because it's such a young person movie, you know? So like when you've made a lot of movies, it's kind of like, you're probably just not going to be interested by the kind of like whiz bang stuff of like Boogie Nights. Like Paul Thomas Anderson, if he tried, probably wouldn't make a very good Boogie Nights now, you know, because he's an older, not that he's old, but he's older. He's a parent of mixed race children, like Leonardo DiCaprio's character, you know, so like
he's compromised is what you're saying.
I was thinking of that in this movie because the casting of the of DiCaprio's daughter and his, I guess, girlfriend, wife, whatever, Tiana Taylor. That might have been in the book that like they were black. I don't know. But I was wondering in the movie, I was like, did he do this because of him and the SNL girl that he's married to?
Maya Rudolph.
Harris. Yes, Maya Rudolph.
I forgot he was married to her.
Yeah, some part of me was like, is this a thing of like, hey, Paul, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you better put some fucking representation in this movie? Because he always makes, his movies are like all white people. For the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
Almost entirely. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is this some kind of like meta? Because Leo's character is like, it's just like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's like, fucking hippies. And he's just like mad at them. Like when the friends show up, he's like, is it a he or she or a they or whatever? And then when the other kid comes to the door, he's like, listen, punk, you motherfucker. And he's just like, I hate, and someone says something that's like vaguely like woke-ish or something, and he's just like, you motherfuckers with your pronouns. Like he has some line about that, and then when he's on the phone with the guy, the password, he's like, you young punk, whatever. Like he has this like weird anger at like the new woke kids.
He drops the R.
He does.
Yeah.
But all of the kids are like chill. You know, they're not stereotypical, like moralizing.
They're normal kids.
Like they're just kind of normal kids. And I was like, is this like Paul doing some kind of like, hey kids, look, see, I get it. Like we're not as cool as your generation because you guys are.
He's doing like a how do you do fellow kids thing. It's just like, oh, you guys are so cool. Listen, do you want to see my movie? Can you buy a ticket so I can keep making stuff?
I'm a real revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when the flashbacks are happening, that would have been when he was making like Boogie Nights. You know, he would have been that age. Yeah.
Okay. Is this a self-reflection by Paul?
Maybe.
That he wasn't cool Paul yet. He wasn't married to a black queen like Maya Rudolph.
Were you at all bothered by or distracted by the notion that the revolutionaries have that like having a border is evil? Because that they do say that at one point. They're like, a good society is no border. They say, like, they sneak it in. They're like, no this, no that. It's like things everyone could agree with. Like, no slavery, no whatever, no borders, no whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, is having a border the most racist thing?
Yeah, there are tons of people that don't want borders. Like, at an extreme level, even on the right, you do have, like, the libertarians who are just like, any border is, like, a violation of my freedom of movement. And it's just like, really? Okay, so you want Infinity Indians here? Being like, sorry, Google card. But it is very weird. One thing that was...
It's the exam. It's like, that's what you want infinity.
The entire... one thing that I thought was just like, okay, this is going to be like co-opted in some way. This is going to be the villain for conservatives at the Oscars this year, because it is kind of the talking point right now of like, oh, some guy is stopping Mexican immigrants at the border, and I'm like raiding ICE detention centers to get the immigrants out. And I feel this script, I think, was in the works for a long time. Before Trump was president, before this was really like, the Overton window shifted that we would be talking about camps like this. I wonder how much of the script was reworked in recent years to include that. I've never read Vineland, so I don't know. But I wonder if this is kind of like, oh, damn, the world has like shifted where this is like, acceptable to talk about now. And maybe I can make money off a movie talking about the social issue. One thing that this movie reminds me of that I haven't seen in the conversation is a movie called How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Have you seen this?
Never heard of it.
This is a movie that came out, I think, in like 2020, 21. And it's about a bunch of left-wing activists from around the United States whose mission is to go to the plains of, I think, like Texas or one of those kind of like flyover area places that's just all like Landman has like just kind of like oil derricks and everything. Yeah. And their whole thing is they're going to blow up a pipeline and disrupt oil. They're like a Just Stop Oil type people. And I felt the same kind of like, yeah, we're fighting the counterculture as I did in this movie. One Battle After Another is a lot more critical of revolutionaries. How to Blow Up a Pipeline is definitely like, yeah, we're the cool guys. Like literally the director, the woman is like an actual just like member of the cast there. And she kind of has like a kind of, we will fight, like look into the camera moment. And it's like, oh, okay, whatever. So I wonder, because back then that movie didn't really make a lot of waves. And even objectionably, that movie does have a lot of problems. So I wonder if now talking about that stuff is more acceptable because of, the Orange Man and everything. Even though he was, I think, president at the time, it still was like, can we really sell tickets for this? Are the baristas going to take time off work to go see this?
Yeah. I wasn't personally annoyed by really almost anything in the movie in terms of like the messaging, because it's for the most part pretty neutral in terms of like the people who have kind of like dumb opinions are kind of portrayed as like not very smart people. You know, it's not, the movie's not giving you this message of like, this is the one truth, you know?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It didn't bother me that much, but I was just thinking I guess it did distract me, because I was sitting there going like, okay, is this about to, oh, it didn't. But I kept going, is this about to... But maybe that's other movies' fault for just being insufferable nowadays.
Yes, and I mean, everybody's going to relate every movie they see to, like, the politics of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, even John Carpenter's movie, They Live, is a critique of Reaganism. So, yeah, maybe this will live on and people won't be, like, as eye-roll. I will say, the one part I did just, like... I was like, okay, come on. It was like the Black Queenism in like the first like 30 minutes of just like, that's right, Whitey, I give you a boner. And I'm not even really paraphrasing. I've almost said it verbatim. Yeah. That stuff is really just like, come on. Yeah. Like this is bad even by like liberal standards.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like, you know, your parents are going to pause the movie and stop it when they see that.
Yeah, if you're an LA like smog breather, like you might see this movie and think it's exactly on point. But if you're anywhere else in the world, or if you have any problems, you're probably going to be like, okay.
Yeah, if you can get past the eye rolling of the first 30 minutes, you'll probably find stuff you'll like in this. Yeah. But yeah, that first part is very rough.
Did you think that the, not ending, but near the end, this is not a spoiler, it's actually in the trailer and it's the fucking poster, Leonardo DiCaprio holding a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
In that part of the movie, there was a lot of talk about how this movie was like so relevant. And I saw so many tweets and posts and videos and whatnot of people mentioning all the marketing and people going like, oh my God, this just speaks to everything that's going on. And people love saying that. Like this movie really has almost nothing in it that's relevant to what's like really a problem today outside of just immigration being a like hot button issue. That's really it's the only thing. This is not that relevant of a movie, generally speaking, but whatever. It's all opinion. Did you think, because there's a scene where Leo has high ground.
Oh.
Did you think that he was about to, you know, because I was watching this, I was like, oh shit, did this like have the worst timing ever with, you know?
Yeah. So for the record, we are recording this at Utah Valley University. Fuck, I didn't even notice that.
On the roof too. That's why you hear those noises.
Yeah, that's where the planes keep flying overhead. Mm-hmm. It's actually FBI drone surveilling us. Fuck, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like,
yeah, he had a scoped rifle with a target in view.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
An unassuming target.
Yeah. Yeah. Was he? Yeah. And was he talking about gang violence? Fuck, that's so true. Yeah. I mean, that's probably just a coincidence. Honestly. Yeah. That's so many just like, moving parts. It's like, yeah, whatever.
You got a letter from Assad like, hey, in 2 years, we're going to blow off Charlie Kirk's head.
Yeah. I will say a lot of people do talk about the ending of this movie. People talk about like a certain road scene that they say was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is like the scene of the year. And honestly, I'm not seeing it.
I agree. I think that's a thing. I wrote down a note about that too in my phone. There's this thing that happens with movies when they're big and popular. It happened with Oppenheimer, Roma, the kind of overhyped, like good but not masterpiece movie. Often whatever scene in the movie that's like just what they say, like pure filmmaking, whatever scene in that movie that is like pure filmmaking or just does something new, when that scene happens, if it's during like a critical moment or it was just kind of generally cool, people are going to say it's like revolutionary, genius filmmaking. It's not a brilliant idea. Like anyone could have had that idea. In fact, I've had that idea. Yeah. Like the idea of showing, you know, the peril of the scene through the way the camera is filming the road. It's like, it's not that brilliant. It's like, if you've been on a road like that, you've probably, like, I don't know about you, I'm sure you've done this where like, if you're driving somewhere or you're walking through a public space, when you kind of look at something, your mind flashes on like, oh, that would be, if my eyes were the camera, that'd be like a cool angle of seeing this movement and ducking my head here. Like that's kind of just like a thing that like, if you think about visual storytelling or whatever, or if you've like played with the camera, you're doing that all the time. But normies seem to see that shit and go like, oh my God.
Yeah. They think it's like on par with like, that what do they call that shot in Jaws where it's like they're dollying back and zooming?
Reverse zoom
or like vertigo, whatever the fuck.
I forget what they call it.
Yeah, they're acting like he reinvented the wheel with this shot, and it's fine. I mean, it looks good.
It's cool.
I don't have any problems with it, but people, are we just too depressed now and too like pessimistic that every time somebody says this is changing cinema landscape that we see it and we're just like, fuck no. That we just get violently angry?
We could be. I don't think so. I think things are just getting overhyped. And other people are noticing this too. I saw this. There was a really viral tweet that I saw the other day where someone was hyping up. It might have been the road scene or some shot from maybe it was the silhouetted when they're jumping on the roof with Benicio.
Oh, yeah.
There was some scene, someone clipped like a 10-second thing from the movie and someone's like, this is groundbreaking, whatever. And and somebody replied and was like, do you ever get tired of this? of overhyping everything? I think it is a thing of like people just want to go viral, so everyone's overhyping to get the viral tweet of praising the thing. I don't think we are bitter, but I don't think this is an example of it. I think that this is just a thing where it's like, yeah, it was good.
I guess it also, yeah, maybe. It might be a symptom of how film culture online is like run by 16-year-olds who watch like an art house movie for the first time and then take 4 screenshots of it and post it on their Tumblr. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, he was insane for this. And it's just fucking like something people have been talking about for like 15 years. It's like, yeah, I've seen every still from Lawrence of Arabia, dude. You're not groundbreaking for showing me like, the match cut with the match to the desert. It's nothing.
It's just one battle after another, Nick.
It really is.
What can you say? What did you think of the name drop?
I didn't eye roll at that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really like, it was fine, honestly. I mean, I don't want it to be like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? But it's fine. It's whatever. I didn't have a problem with that at all. It was just kind of like, oh, so that's where it comes from.
I feel like it's not the best title. I try to do this thing in my head where like if I feel like a title or a line of dialogue or something that was written could have been better, I try to think of like, well, I should be able to think of what the better thing is. And I can't really think of a better title off the top of my head, but the title just seems kind of arbitrary because it's not really about battles or even ideological battles. It's kind of about chaos.
Yeah. I guess you could just call it I Love My Mixed Race Daughter by Paul Thomas Anderson.
I love my Benetton ad daughter. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even really talk about the daughter as an actress. Chase Infinity. This is her like first movie ever.
What's that name?
Chase Infinity. Yes, it does sound like the car that the police are looking for after a block gets shot up in Chicago. But yeah, this is her first movie ever. She was in some stuff before, I think, for like Apple TV and like some little things. But for what she's doing, she's pretty good. Yeah, I didn't really have a problem. Like I said, I feel like a lot of people don't have a lot to do is the problem. Yeah. Besides like Benicio, who does like actually like facilitate the plot. And she does some good like facial acting, and there are some scenes that she's pretty good. And I mean, if she gets like best supporting actress nod, I wouldn't be offended if she got nom for that.
No.
Okay, Caleb is a racist.
We're not just giving awards for being in a movie.
She did some good scenes that I can't really talk about because they're spoilers.
If you took those same scenes and just put them in like some Forgotten Angel Studios movie, though, you wouldn't be like, I saw an Angel Studios movie that had some pretty good acting in it, actually. No.
I did like Sound of Freedom more than you. So
that's true. Was that Angel Studios?
Yeah.
No way.
I think so. It's the same. I think they're related. Yeah.
Sound of Freedom's bad.
It's fine.
It's bad. You're too forgiving.
The guy from Passion of the Christ, isn't it?
He is.
Yeah.
One moisel after another. He's on a tear right now against them.
Jim Caviezel?
Yeah. He was on like Steve Bannon's podcast and he's like excrement, boiling an excrement.
Oh yeah, if you know anything about the Jewish lore.
Yeah.
And our Savior.
Well, we're calling it now. Sean Penn, Oscar nomination, possible win, unless some other overrated bullshit comes out. Unless there's like an Emilia Perez that starts winning awards for no reason. But yeah, he's great. It's worth seeing it for him. It's worth seeing in a theater, I'd say. It's a fun time at the theater. Yeah,
I saw it in IMAX and it did look good, especially a lot of the outdoor scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it in one of the fancy like VistaVision theaters because Washington sucks dick.
I saw it in one of the worst theaters in Washington, and the fucking bulb was like dying, so the screen was like flickering the whole time. No. Which you couldn't really see during like any of the like moody scenes, but anything in the sun in the desert was just like, I was like, you mean epileptic seizure? And then I walked out of the theater and I just was so clueless walking in. When I walked out, I discovered that half of that theater has now become a church.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
Because it's designed like any other theater where it's like kind of a T shape, where like the lobby is the bottom of the T, you know. But they rip your ticket and they say, you're going to be in theater 1. And it says 1 through 4 to the right, 5 through 8 to the left. Mm-hmm. I turn right. I go to my theater. I watch the movie. I'm coming out. I come out and I'm now turning left to go back to the lobby. 5 through 8 is not 5 through 8 anymore. It's this giant like neon glowing sign that says like the blood of the Christ Church compels you. It's like a huge sign. And this is not a big building. And there were tons of people in there. And it was like being in the Master. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, this is where we watched Naked Gun, for the record. And the last time I went there, it was like kind of cordoned off with a rope they have like in tickets.
Yeah.
And it was just like the prayer room. And it's like, you know what? You own your own business. You can do what you want. This isn't a big chain. No. So it's like, you know, your business, your rules. But it's like, really, you're taking half your theater out in a pretty like sizable town that could definitely like use some more business.
Probably.
To make a prayer room. It's like, you can like, really? Damn.
It's one battle after another.
It's one battle after another. Yeah. Thank you for listening to our racist review of One Battle After Another. I'd like to thank everybody that subscribed to us on Patreon so far. We are starting to get into the flow of things. And we do appreciate all the people that have sent us emails, given us episode suggestions. All the support we've gotten has actually been immense. I mean, our friends and family have been there every step of the way, and it's just been great. So if you'd like to become a patron, go to patreon.com/yourolderbrothers. You get at least 4 extra episodes a month, maybe 5 if it lines up for you. For only $5. You can donate more if you'd like, but $5 gets you 4 episodes. Instagram and TikTok is Your Older Brothers Podcast. We are on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, at You Are Older Brothers. If you'd like to send us an email with suggestions, go to yourolderbrothers@gmail.com. We appreciate getting, you know, critiques, comments, anything. We really do. You feel free to reach out to us with anything.
Sorry, Mom. One last thing that I just discovered in my phone notes as I was scrolling through here. I remember where I wrote this down pretty early in the movie. There's a relationship that starts between 2 characters, and I wrote down, does every movie have to have fucking gay pegging in it?
That's right. I forgot about that.
I was just watching that. I was like, oh my God. Can we get over this thing where, like, if a character is mean, he's either secretly gay or, like, secretly... Like, can there ever be a character that is just, like, a real-life person that you've met who's, like, an insane asshole? They don't have to have, like, a gay insecurity. They can just be straight and also bad.
Yeah. You can just make an actual bad person. You don't need to have him like have some sort of like complex in any way. You can just make him bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like that.
American Beauty was so damaging to cinema, where like every character has to be like Chris Cooper in that movie, where it's like if they're an asshole, it's because they're secretly gay. One butthole after another.
One dude's butthole after another.
One boner after another.
One boner.